Welcome back to Waste Some Time with Jason Green. I am Jason Green. It's Wednesday. We're live. We're talking about the monsters of rock cruise today. Some of you watching, maybe you've never been on one of these rock cruises, and some of you may be veterans. We got a lot to get to. We're going to talk about it today. Johnny Monaco will be joining us in just a little bit, my favorite lead guitar player. And of course, Stevie Rachelle of Tough, the band Tough, and Metal Sludge will be here. He's not going to be on the cruise this year. I wish he was. He was there in 2014, the first time I went. But anyway, he's going to be here. I think he can also give us an insider's point of view on what it's like to go on one of these cruises. And maybe if you're into it, maybe you'll be there next year. Or maybe you can find a cabin right now. I don't really know how that all works. But before we get into the guests and the cruise talk, got to deal with a little bit of haters. I know it's hard to believe that there would be people out there who talk shit and think they know something and things like that. And so we should probably address those things and then get to the cruise and all of that and more right after this. Just wanna waste some time with you. Sometimes it seems too good to be true. Nobody I'd rather waste time with than you. Excuse me. Thank you so much for joining me today. I see we got a ton of people, and I think it's going to be a good show. Whether you are interested in going on the cruise or not, we're still going to have some fun conversation. So I was talking about haters. Well, when you get a YouTube channel or you do anything in life, you've got to have a little bit of a thick skin. So I put myself on this channel and film myself constantly. I say film, obviously there's no film anymore. And I try to show people my life, and some people like it, and that's it. And maybe there's some people who don't like it, but they don't necessarily talk about that. So you have to build up a thick skin to sit in front of a camera. No one is thrilled with their appearance. You know, some people look worse than others, and you have to sit here and have the guts to do it and have hopefully some personality. Maybe there's something that an audience finds interesting about you. I don't have a fancy backdrop with silly images on a green screen. I don't sit here and talk into a blue microphone. I don't act like I'm better than you. I certainly don't think I know more than you. I like to have a good conversation with my audience and sometimes show you what my life is like on the road. Doesn't mean it's right. It doesn't mean it's wrong. It doesn't mean it's glamorous, but it is my life that I share with you guys. And I'm so grateful to have such an audience. What an incredible thing to think we have over closing in on 2 million views. My tour diary is 100,000 views. Might sound like I'm bragging, but I'm not. I'm thankful. I'm thankful that you guys care. But it's come to my attention that somebody said my tour diaries are terrible. They were really confident with that, and when pressed, continued to essentially bash me. And normally, that wouldn't matter. Who cares? I don't watch other people's shows. I don't know what goes on. Sometimes when you're up here, you don't have time to watch down there. But people will occasionally send me a clip and things. And I said, you know what? Who cares? The world is filled with haters. A lot of people are jealous. A lot of people who talk shit about you are probably not as intelligent. They're not as attractive. They're not funny. Anyone who tells you they're funny is usually not. You know that rule. So the thing that irks me, if you will, is when you find out the person who talks shit about you is somebody that you know. Well, that's interesting. You know, you seemed like you were nice to my face, and now you are a shit talker. Okay, I can take it. I'm fair game. I'm public. But when you then decide to talk shit about everybody that you work with, you find that to be a bit of an odd thing. You know, why would you do that? I've never seen somebody go out and actually sabotage themselves by attacking the people they work with, attacking all the other people around it, and doing it in the name of humor. I'm not really sure. And so, like I said, when you're successful and people watch your show, you have more than, say, 55 views, then people are going to gun for you, if you will. I don't really know how to describe it. And of course, I'm not an immature child. I'm not going to sit here and make fun of people by name. You can decide who I'm talking about and who I'm not. To say that my tour diaries are terrible and drive it home so many times when most of the things you do, including play guitar, are terrible. I didn't say that. Warren DeMartini did. But anyway, listen, I think I've been vague enough, right? Listen, the moral of the story is we're here to have a good time. And the haters out there are going to continuously fail at what they do because they're fueled on hate, not talent, not skill. Just because you can set up a camera in your living room doesn't mean you should. Because you think you're a YouTuber or you think that you're an influencer, you're not. And I'm sorry. I mean, everyone should do their thing. Everybody should be allowed to say what they want. It helps, though, if you're going to try to do it, to have an audience that watches you. I'm not talking about the former drummer for RATT, which everybody is speculating. I want to mention that the RATT box set is available for pre-order right now. And its link is in the description, by the way, and I recommend it. 5 pieces of vinyl, 5 albums, the good ones, the Atlantic years, and a 45 of Nobody Rides for Free, a guitar pick, a sticker, a wanted poster, a replica tour book. And then there's also a 5 CD set for those of you guys who are still playing CDs. I think it should have been on cassette, but you go in the description and you check it out. I see a lot of people already saying they have it. Dr. Paul, it wants to believe that I'm talking about Chris Hager. I am not. But it's funny. So anyway, Stephen Pearcy will be here Friday live. Won't be live, it's taped, but talk about the box set. He's going to answer some big questions, and I think you will like that. Now, I think Stevie Rachelle is here, but I can't tell. Maybe he's just got his camera covered. I'm not sure. But we'll figure that out in a second. I see a gray screen, so if anyone can hear me. Anyway, so I want to talk about some upcoming guests real quick before we bring in Stevie and Johnny. But again, I can't see the camera working here. Coming up real soon, I told you this Friday is Stephen Pearcy. After that, Richie Ramone will be here. It's an honor for me to talk to a member of the Ramones. He was in the band from 1983 to 1987, played on 3 albums, wrote the song "Somebody Put Something in My Drink," among others, and most importantly, he played drums on my theme song. So he'll be here. Stacy Q, and then Lee Aaron, Canada's metal queen. She'll be here too. And if you're a member of the channel, you go to the YouTube member, you hit join, you can just watch all this stuff early. And Patreon, of course. And Patreon people will get a care package. So we'll talk about that. I want to look at some of your comments, and then let's just see what's going on here. Are you there? Oh, yeah, okay. I think he's just shielding the lens for now, but we'll get to Stevie in 1 second. Okay, so Brian Kirk, good to see you. Jason Holstein. I like when I could, when you're a member, you also get a fancy little star next to your name. So that, it's Skylar's birthday. Skylar B, regular of the show. Happy birthday. Glad you're here. Where else would you be? This is the most popular podcast that mentions Dokken or Trickster at any time. Mark Sanchez, good to see you. Johnny will be joining us later, but we both thank you for the hellos. And hi, everybody. Let's see here. Okay, everybody's getting ready. Yeah, well, Jason makes a good point. If you're watching, hit the like button. Let's get crazy here. 200 people already watching within seconds. Some people don't get 200 views within 6 months. And good. Okay, now I see Stevie, and he's looking good, by the way. So I'll get to him in just a second. And him and I are going to talk some cruise, and we're going to talk some other things. Stevie's been quite busy. He's been around the world. Who would think that in 2023 you could go see Tough in Australia and all kinds of in Thailand, and Stevie's keeping the brand going. Anyway, that's a good time to bring him in. Here he is, Stevie Rochelle.
What's up, Jason?
Good to see you. I like your backdrop. You're out in the California sun.
Yeah, well, Polis has got a hold of me and said, need to do this podcast. I got a few minutes, so knock it out. I ain't got all day.
This is the new Stevie Rochelle. He's got a whole new image. I think he must be huge in the Midwest right now.
Yeah, like I said, there's been a few changes going on. We got a new guitar player filling in. Billy Morris is double booked for part of the summer. So, me and Chase had a little executive meeting, decided we needed to bring in some fresh blood because Billy's double booked for part of the summer. So, I figured I'd just come on here. Polis has required me make an appearance here on this Wasting All My Time podcast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. That the publicist is working overtime for sure. But I'm glad that you're here, and I know that Billy Morris is busy on the food truck as well. In Ohio, he's cooking the food up, and they got a quite popular rock and roll food truck. We're going to be in Ohio, and I'm looking, and it seems like you've been spending some time in Ohio, and I'm going to try to go visit and show the folks on the show. Well, Stevie, what have you been up to?
Well, as the fan base knows, we've done a little touring. Went down to Australia. I did a few shows with a whole slew of glam bands. Faster Pussycat, led by the immortal Tammy Down. Wednesday 13, the god of glam and ghoul goth. Chip, everybody's favorite from Chicago. Enough's enough.
Yeah, Johnny.
And of course, myself and Mr. Chase decided to go down there as Tough and play a little bit of our old school stuff.
Nice. I don't know if you're familiar. Andy Kaufman, he used to have this character named Tony Clifton. I feel like I'm having that interview. Allegedly, Andy Kaufman took a shift at Jerry's Deli. He was so married to shtick. I wish Johnny was here in a character as well.
Well, to be perfectly honest, I had a legit mouth surgery over the weekend. So the left side of my face, if I appear to look a little bit like Wolfgang Van Halen over here, because I did have a little work done on my lower back, second to last tooth, which required a extraction that was long and painful. And I am on some painkillers, amongst other things.
Yeah, well, that's rock and roll of you, at least. Stevie, we're going to talk about the cruise a little bit. You've done the cruise. Was 2014 your first one?
I don't remember the exact first one, but I know we've been on 4 total, 3 from the East Coast and 1 on the West Coast called Monsterwood. And every time we went, it was a blast.
Yeah, it's definitely fun. 2014, I was there with the band Winger, and I got to see you play with Tough. And it's interesting because I didn't get off the boat. A lot of people do. And Stevie, I from what I heard, you got to get off the boat, enjoy a little time, and even get a little working out in. You know how the paparazzi is. So the paparazzi were out and about taking your photo. Here's a picture of you on the Monsters of the Rock beach, getting a workout in. It's amazing how young you looked even then.
21.
Yeah, you've kept it together. Not many of your peers can say that. I just go to the buffet on the cruise, and you'll find out with what I mean.
1987.
Now, Stevie, I wish that you would be at this one, but you tough is busy, right?
Well, we're not on it, so we're not going to show up because we're not invited this year. But I have full confidence we'll be there again, and the people over there, Larry Moran and the entire crew, have always treated us with the utmost respect. And as I said earlier, every time we've been on the cruise, it's been a blast with a
Yeah.
with a whole array of folk. And as a matter of fact, I do remember backstage near the pool stage, you came up to me and said Kip Winger wanted to talk to you,
Mhm.
wanted
Yeah.
to meet you, wanted to
Kip
chat.
Kip Winger was always curious why you said such mean things or something along those lines. He didn't maybe realize that Metal Sledge said things about a lot of people in jest, but he wanted to meet you, and seemed like it was a nice meeting, and I think he gets it now.
Well, and I've already fallen on the sword, good, bad, or indifferent for Metal Sludge, but there was a lot of things that were said, printed, shared, written, uh, distributed electronically on Metal Sludge for many years that I wasn't always the exact source, but I was the founder and owner and CEO of the site. So I'll take full responsibility for those who worked with us, for us, and amongst us.
Yeah, absolutely. It's amazing how a little oral surgery and they give you a couple painkillers, and the next thing you know, you suddenly are a Southerner. It's a strange it's a strange thing. Let's see here. Now, Stevie, let's talk about this year's Monsters of Rock cruise. I know you're not going to be there, but you do know, you have your finger, a thumb, if you will, on the pulse of rock and roll. You know most of these bands, good, bad, or indifferent. It's an interesting lineup. I think there's something for everybody. I will tell you, Stevie, I'm most excited about some of these bands from Sweden and from Finland that maybe we don't get the chance to see so often.
Yeah, I can't read any of that, but
No, no, I'm going to read it. I'm going to read it to you. Let's go through some of these bands, starting with the top. Tesla.
let's do word association. You mentioned the band, and I'll give you a 2 or 3 word sentence.
I like that. Okay, that's good. Let's start with Tesla.
Great band. Originally called City Kid before they were named Tesla.
Hmm. Yeah, that's true. Good fun fact. Down to 3 original members right now. We can keep an original member tally as we go. I enjoy Tesla. Frank Hannon, Brian Wheat, Jeff Keith are the members in the band now.
Yep.
They've done the cruise a bunch of times, and I believe that they're kind of a favorite. Okay, Stevie, Michael Schenker.
I don't know anything about him other than he plays a guitar, Flying V, and his brother is way more successful.
I think you summed that one up. What's interesting is Michael Schenker is billed very high, but what makes me wonder is there anyone who's going to be singing along to Michael Schenker songs? I don't know. I am looking forward to seeing him play the Flying V, but I don't know much else. Okay, Stephen Pearcy.
I love me some Main Rat.
Yeah,
He
I'm with.
is the main rat.
He definitely is. I'm happy to be tour managing him 2 shows on the boat. He's also going to be doing a meet and greet, I should point out, on the first day, 5:30 to 6:30. Go to officialstephenpearcy.com. You can find out more about that. I think Stephen has the most hits of everybody on the boat. I think if you're looking to have a good time, don't miss it. Okay, next up is Queensryche.
Yeah, great catalog. Clearly, probably the 3 most important pieces are no longer involved.
Hmm.
Um, Jeff, Chris has been gone for a while, and Scott Rockenfield's got a nice store.
It's interesting, yeah. Jeff and Jeff Tate and Chris DeGarmo are the principal songwriters of the band. They wrote the songs, and yes, somehow Scott Rockenfield has a store, and he sells dog jackets and koozies and whatever you could think of. He has for sale, but yet he's not performing with Queensryche. Very strange. Next up is Extreme.
You know, I've never been a huge fan of the band, but clearly they had a couple of hits, and obviously talented players.
Yeah, it's funny, Stevie. I hear that a lot. Everybody knows their talents. And Nuno Betancourt, great guitar player. Gary Cherone, he was in Van Halen as well. But not everybody likes the songs. They say that record had a lot of returns because More Than Words was a #1 single. But when people got it home, maybe they weren't expecting Get the Funk Out and those type of things. I like that they have the 3 core members, and I'm sure that it'll be a lot of fun for people. Next up is Winger. I will tell you that Winger is the only band on this boat that has the original lineup.
All original?
All original.
Good for them. Obviously, also very talented guys. And Kip, I like him. He doesn't take himself too seriously. He's a good guy.
Yeah, he's going to be on the show very soon as well. Yeah, I like Winger. Not everyone gets it. A lot of their later music is a little more prog, a little heavier, a little more experimental. They are really talented guys, and it's great to see that after 30-something years, you'll have all 4, Paul Taylor, Red Beach, Rod Morgenstein, and Kip Winger together. Next up is Kix.
Another great band with a great catalog, but unfortunately, they're starting to lose key components with age, health related.
Yeah, absolutely. Kix is down to 2 members for this cruise. Brian Forsythe, who will be doing double duty because he's in the band, Rhino Bucket as well, and then the singer Steve Whiteman. I'm glad they continue, but it does become tough. Their drummer has had some heart issues, and we're glad he's okay. I mean, he passed out at one of the shows, was unconscious, got CPR. They saved his life, and so thankfully he will not be there. They've got a life coach filling in, Matt Starr, which is good because if anyone needs advice, he will be there. Sorry you're going to miss that, Stevie. Next up is Stryper. Now, Stryper has 3 out of 4 original members.
Yeah, and they're still performing well and putting out music. I don't know that a lot of people care about a new album every 10 months, but some of their diehard fans probably do.
Yeah, I will tell you, I think the same. But I when I do hear the music, it is good. They just keep cranking it out, and I will say that they make good music. And I know so many people who may not be Christian, but they still love Stryper, and yes, they absolutely play well. Okay, next up is Vandenberg. This is a weird one.
One of my first concerts,
Vandenberg?
I saw Kiss on the Lick It Up tour, February of 1984 at the Brown County Coliseum in Green Bay, Brown County Arena. Vandenberg and Heaven were the openers. So Heaven played first, then Vandenberg, then Kiss.
Yeah. So Adrian Vandenberg, I believe, is the only original member of Vandenberg.
Yeah, and I believe they had that hit Burning Heart at that time.
That's right, Burning Heart. Yeah. I think most people remember him from his time in Whitesnake. He had a horrible hand injury, wasn't able to play. Steve Vai recorded the record. But anyway, a lot of people know Adrian from that. He played the solo on Here I Go Again. He's in all the videos. And another great player that I'm looking forward to seeing. Here's a band I know nothing about, so maybe you can help us. Eclipse.
They just played with us in Australia. Kind of a modern AOR band. I guess that's what you call them. Great performers, good solid material, but I don't know much more than that. They're from Sweden.
Sweden. Okay. Look, the great thing about these cruises is you can pop in and pop out. I'm going to go in for a minute and take a look. And if it's good, I'll stay a little longer. Okay, no cruise is complete without a good lynch mob. They'll be there.
Who's in Lynch Mob?
That's a tough one. I believe the Bullet Boy drummer Jimmy DeAnda is on drums. George Lynch, believe it or not, on guitar. And after that, it's a toss-up. Maybe someone in the chat knows. I apologize for ignoring everyone. But,
Yeah, I'm always like George and Jimmy and those couple records they did with Oni and Robert, both great records.
yeah. So I don't know the lineup, but I'm sure as long as George Lynch is there, it will be good. Next up is Doro.
I don't know much about her other than she's German and Johnny D's her drummer, and she has that one great song. I think that was a Warlock song.
Yeah, we are all we are, all we are, we are.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one. And yeah, and Johnny D from Brittany Fox. I've seen Doro. I was fortunate. She's been on the show. Very nice woman, and she looks great, and she's keeping it alive. And okay, here's an odd one, Stevie. This is one you could shed a little light on. DAD.
Dead at Disneyland, right?
Disneyland After Dark, as I thought it was, but maybe you're right.
Yeah, I thought it was Dead at Disneyland, but they had to change it because of the dead. So then they were Disneyland After Dark. I could be wrong. Sleeping My Day Away, great song. They're from Copenhagen, Denmark, if I'm not mistaken. Don't know anything else about it. Oh, the bass player plays with 2 strings.
I've heard that, which I think is great. I think that's all you need.
Yeah, 2 strings. That's all he has on all his
fact, it might be one string too many. But I'm gonna check it out. That's an interesting one. That's the fun thing about these cruises, and Larry and everyone puts on a good show because they find bands that maybe you didn't get to see. Maybe you saw them on Headbangers Ball and that was it. Next up is Great White.
The new kid's great.
They got a young singer.
He's a great front man. He's obviously young. He's got a great voice. His voice fits Great White better than the previous guys fit.
I agree. I think he is the best voice that they've had since Jack Russell. He's got a lot of energy. We saw him. Stephen did a show with Slaughter and Great White over the weekend. The kid was great, very accessible, hung out with everybody, really soaking it all in, and did a great job. And I think added some life to the band. Michael Lardy, Audie Desbro, and Mark Kendall, the original, Scott Snyder on bass. But they all seem to have a little pep in their step, having somebody new in the band. So I'll check out Great White. Next up, as you mentioned, the Faster Pussycat.
Yeah, I think they've been on every cruise since the beginning.
I think you're correct.
Tammy's got a good lineup. He's got a good thing going there. And above all, shout out to Tammy for being sober for, 5 years now?
Yeah, absolutely. I spoke to him the other day. Tammy had definitely had issues with substance and smoking, and both those things really wore on him. He's doing great. He looks great. He's playing better than he had been, and he's in good spirits. He's working on a book, and he'll be on the show to talk about that. So Tammy is the only original member, but some of those guys have been with him over 20 years. Okay, next up is another one I don't know, Nestor.
You know what? With Nestor, I got to take this out. I thought it would be funny for a few minutes, but I can't laugh.
You definitely went a long time. Yeah.
Nestor, I don't know anything about him.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about him. I know they've been on a couple cruises, but I don't know anything about him. But
if anyone in the chat is familiar with Nestor, let us know. I'm curious. I'm going to look it up before I go. Next up, allegedly, is Rose Tattoo. I'm hearing that they are going to cancel.
Swedish band, no, Australian band, right?
Yeah, legendary, very AC/DC sounding. They've got some big songs, but I'm hearing that they've had some lineup changes, and maybe they won't be there. I don't know. Next up is Hardcore Superstar. That's one I'm interested in.
You've never seen them?
I don't think I've ever seen them. I know a couple of the songs, and everybody tells me it's great.
They're from Sweden. They have a song called "We Don't Celebrate Sundays," which is awesome. Mm-hmm. We played with them one time in Germany. and they were the headliner. Dangerous Toys was the co-headliner. Vane, um, Shameless with me singing was on the bill, and like 5 or 6 other bands. And I have to say, I was pretty shocked. There was like three to 4,000 people there.
Wow. Yeah,
Hardcore
I'm looking
Superstar
forward.
was great live band.
Yeah, that one I'm looking forward to. Here's an interesting one, Taiketo.
All good guys. I think they're technically from the East Coast, but I think the singer now lives in Spain, right?
Yeah, I think he was from Brooklyn. I remember when I was growing up in New York seeing Taiketo play. His name is Danny Vaughan. Um,
Danny Vaughn is from the East Coast.
yeah. Another example of a band that maybe you saw on the Headbangers Ball, but maybe you never got a chance to see live. Now on the cruise, you have that opportunity. Here's another one, Stevie. I don't know anything about Wigwam.
Well, I don't know anything about them either, other than are they English? I think they're maybe from the UK, and I want to say they just came to the US, so they were playing some dates here, and I think Troy Patrick Farrell was actually working as their tour manager, and now I
Oh,
think they've made their way to the East Coast and they're getting on the ship.
that might explain why I don't know them. Also, I heard a rumor, not positive, but that LA Guns was thinking of changing their name to Wig Wham. Okay, then next up is Tyler Bryant and the Shakedown.
No idea who that is.
I Googled it. I saw that Tyler Bryant is a bit younger of a guitar player. They opened for Guns N' Roses. They've got a little buzz, but again, this is one I don't know. Maybe if I was passing by and it caught my attention, I would check it out. Okay, next
Right.
up is Soto.
Soto, is that a tribute band?
I think Soto is Jeff Scott Soto, and I think
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah.
he should
No, there
call
was
it
a
that.
tribute band called I think Sato. But yeah, no, Jeff Scott Soto. Yeah,
Yeah,
Jeff's
same.
great. I mean, he's been in a lot of bands. Obviously, most notably, he was in Ingve way back when he was younger. He did a short stint in Journey, but he's played with all kinds of people, and he's obviously built himself a brand where Jeff can play anywhere around the world, with a catalog of music that is pretty deep. I mean, pushing 4 decades now. Jeff's
Yeah,
Jeff's great.
talented guy. And yeah, and if it was the right time, I would go check it out. Chris Holmes, the legend.
I think Chris is going to do great on the cruise. And I just have to say out loud, I did have dental surgery over the weekend, and wow, my mouth is fucking fucked up. Excuse my language. I thought the Billy Bob teeth was going to be a funny addition, but maybe keeping them in for 15 minutes didn't help.
It might have hurt. Yeah.
So if I look
Somebody,
like I'm chewing my mouth, I am.
Michael Perez says that Chris Holmes should be higher on the bill. This entire bill is written in a very strange fashion. As Stevie and I are talking, we'll tell you one band that's huge with a million hit songs, and then the next one we're not really familiar. The billing isn't
Well,
necessarily.
a lot of times they lay out the bands in whatever type of order. I mean, at some point, I think they even did one, or maybe it was some festival where they went in alphabetical order. So the first band you saw was Autograph, and I thought there
Mhm.
was no disrespect to them, but it was absolutely stupid. It's just like, why is the name Autograph the first one you see? I mean, in alphabetical order or not, it's just, it's like, what, you're gonna put Ozzy and Motley Crue fucking 3/4 of the way down because it's in alphabetical order. It was a dumb idea. Um, with them being first. But obviously, these dates or these names, however they're listed, for anybody that's ever went, or I should say hasn't went on the cruise, it's it's just a mishmash. I mean, you show up, you get on the boat, and there's music happening basically from noon until midnight every single day, and it's happening in about 5 locations. There's a theater, there's a pool stage, there's a Studio B, which is technically an ice rink. In a lot of the ships, they use it as an ice rink for ice capades kind of performances. They cover the floor and the band's playing there. And then there's a couple of lounges. There's also an atrium. then they're having Q&As and autograph sessions and meet and greets. And so at any point during the day, there's something going on, multiple things going on, overlapping all day long. So what you're looking at is roughly 4 dozen artists, 35, 40, 45 artists, and each one will usually play twice. Um, then there's also the meet and greet, the photo opportunity, the Q&As, and the jam sessions and all that as well. So there's going to be an opportunity to see 10 or 15 shows a day, depending on how you want to align your schedule. So
Yeah, absolutely. And Stevie, you make a good point. Q&As. I'll be moderating a Q&A on the promenade with Mark Weiss, legendary photographer, and I look forward.
I love Mark Weiss.
Yeah, definitely a legend, and took some great photos of you, and so I look forward to that. So if you're on the cruise, come out and see that, and I look forward to seeing you. Okay, we'll run through some of these a little faster because some of these are going to get silly. But Chris Holmes is obviously a legend, the mean man behind
Chris
wall.
is going to be he's going to do great, and he's also going to be bombarded by fans. He's a very likable guy. And I don't even know Chris that well, but I've been around him a handful of times at shows out in LA, and he could not be a nicer guy. He doesn't judge. So if you were in a glam band or a metal band or whatever, he's nice to everybody. He's always been very cool. And I think Chris is going to go over huge as a fan favorite on the cruise.
I have a great story about him meeting Slash and remarking on Slash's tattoos. I cannot tell the story, uh, but maybe I'll tell you later.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah, Chris Holmes is great, and I've worked with him a bunch of times here in Vegas, and he doesn't get to America very often. That's another thing with these cruises; you get to see people who you might not see here in the United States. Okay, next is
Right.
Reckless Love. I hear good things about this band.
Yeah, I mean, they're technically from Finland, if I'm not mistaken. No, from Finland. The singer's obviously eye candy. He's a very good looking young man, which he's not that young anymore. I mean, he's not 40, but I don't think he's 23 or 25 anymore. I think he's probably in his 30s. But
Mhm.
they have a couple of really good songs, very hooky. Beautiful Bomb or something like that is one of their songs, and they're obviously they're popular with the girls and the
That's what
ladies.
I'm hearing. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm hearing that. But I'm gonna check it out. Next up is Vane. Vane's been around forever.
love Davey, great band. Love Delana. They're awesome. Known them since the beginning. Tufts did a lot of shows with them up there, down here, vice versa. We've been friends the whole way. They're great people.
Yeah, okay, and I think a lot of people are familiar. Next up is Lee Aaron, the metal queen of Canada.
Don't know a lot about her, but yeah, kind of like a lower tier Lita Doro or something like that.
Yeah, she explains on my next interview with her why she didn't get really released in America, and a lot of it is contractual. She probably would have done really well. She was a very pretty girl. She's still she's a very pretty woman right now. Uh, she posed for We magazine, and she said her manager sort of pushed her into it when was 19. She regrets it, but in my interview, she talks about that for the first time. I'm not going to
Right.
say whether or not I googled the photos, uh, but but maybe I did. Okay, next up is Treat. I don't know what that is.
Who?
Treat.
I mean like a dog treat?
Yep.
I don't know anything about them. Never. I don't think I've even heard that name before.
They stumped us. Maybe I'm going to come off the boat and go, Stevie, you got to see this Treat. I don't know. Next up is Dirty Looks. I liked the band Dirty Looks. The singer has passed away. Jason McMaster of Dangerous Toys, I believe, is the singer.
Yep. And they had a couple of records on Atlantic, probably like 86, 88, something like that.
Yeah, yeah, and good stuff. And I would be curious. It's again to poke my head. And next up is Spike. Spike was supposed to be here, and they sent me a message, and they said that there was a family emergency, and Spike had to postpone. Unfortunately, 3 days later, the original guitar player, Guy Bailey, who wrote all the songs with Spike, had passed away. So we're postponing that. Spike will be on the boat playing acoustic.
Yeah, there was what a little bit of a choir boys dust up within the last couple years, right?
It's an interesting one. A guy named Guy Griffin, who was the other guitar player who did join later, he decided to put together his own choir boys.
Right.
And Spike went out and got all of the original choir boys. It seems like it's hard to compete. Although I will say that the Scab lineup had Chips Enough in it, so you know that that had to be terrible, good. So mm, anyway, that's Spike. I'm looking forward to seeing him. Another guy you don't see in America that often. Next up, my last guest, Ted Poley of Danger Danger fame. He's going to be there.
Yeah, Ted's out there working, and it's a shame that the band doesn't do more shows. But who knows? Obviously, there's some turmoil that at some point existed, and it seems like it's still kind of bubbling under. I listened to part of that interview the other day, and there's still a little, I don't know, strife within that camp or something. So you'd think that they could do more than a couple of shows every few years, but everyone's different. Who knows? I mean, maybe those guys are forever wealthy and just they don't want to do it. I mean, sometimes guys have just moved on and that they don't want to play the music. But Ted's he's a lifer. He's out there playing shows, whether it's acoustic or not. I personally think that acoustic shows are fucking garbage, because if somebody wants to hear you play X amount of songs, there's only so many acoustic songs you can play. I mean, I would think listening to Naughty Naughty and Bang Bang acoustic would be lame. That's just my 2 cents. And I like
I'm not
Ted,
a
but
fan. Yeah,
you
I'm
know,
not a fan myself. I'm hoping he's bringing a band, but maybe it's acoustic.
I mean,
Maybe,
here's what happens. Hate to shit on everybody's parade, but hey, I'm in a band. I'm this guy. These are our songs. Oh yeah, we'll book you. Here's the money. Oh no, I need X amount of dollars because I have to bring this guy and this guy and this guy and this guy, and we want this and this. Oh well, we don't have that much money. Okay, well, how much? Well, I'll give you this much. Okay, I'll just come with my acoustic guitar and sit on a stool.
right.
Okay, so whether it's Mike Tramp or Karabi or Ted Poley, a lot of those guys do that. I mean, some guys do it way better. I mean, John is good. Karabi's good because he's a funny guy. He's likable. It's like he's sitting in your living room doing it. He's a little bit more of a natural doing it. Kip
Yeah,
also does it, and Kip also is somebody that can play the hell out of his instrument and sing his ass off. So some guys do it better than others, but people have asked me a million times, why don't you do this? Why don't you come out and just do yourself? And I'm like, I will never do that. You know,
I agree with you. Yeah, Kip does it well, but it's a weird thing. I got a lot of dumb people who watch. So Chris is the dumbest, and he says that I've shit on or hated on Mark Torran, which is not true. I had Mark on the show, and it was a nice interview. Matt Starr, all I said is that Matt Starr is a life coach. I think it's strange, but that's nothing. Chips Enough, if you've watched this show, I'm loyal to Johnny Monaco, and I'm not a fan of lip syncing. And then Jimmy Danda, I didn't say anything bad about Jimmy Danda. I don't know the guy. He plays
so
drums.
who's Chris?
He's just a guy in the chat who I'm going to put in timeout for a little while. He needs to sit by himself.
What does he think of me? Hey, Chris, what do you think of me?
You're going to have to wait until his timeout expires. He probably likes you. He doesn't like that I have opinions on other people, although you are very opinionated. So maybe let's fly through some of these names. I'm sure that Eddie Trunk is doing the same thing right now on his show. Next up is Soto and Beeler. It's just Jeff Scott Soto with Jason Beeler, the guitar player for Saigon Kid.
Correct.
Yeah, and that's an acoustic thing. After that is Joel Hoekstra. He plays with Cher, and he was in Whitesnake, right?
Joel Hoekstra plays with Cher?
I think so. I think I'm right. Someone can Google that, but I think it was him.
Well, and I got, has Cher even played a show in the last 5 years? But I guess, hey, if you get a gig like that, and somebody from Cher's management calls you and says, hey, you want to be your guitar player? And you say, yeah, then they go, okay, you're on salary for this amount of money for the next 6 months. Oh, by the way, we're going to fly you to Vegas and we're going to record this and that. I guess when you get those kind of gigs, there's a lot of perks involved, you know.
Yeah. No, absolutely. A lot of people in the chat who want to talk, and we'll get to the conversation.
It's
But I
not like
do.
Cher's going on the Rock Never Stops tour, you know. So
No, I don't. I don't see that happening. But listen, you never know. Fingers crossed. Okay, we got a lot to get through here. Autograph, the mighty autograph. If you're counting original members with autograph, you have 0. I think, Stevie, this might be a Metal Sludge exclusive. And no disrespect to any of those guys. I know Steve Unger, the bass player. I've had Jimmy Bell on the show. I've had Simon on the show. They're all fine with me. I don't have a problem. But I believe this is the last time they will be called autograph.
yeah, I've known Danny, Daniel, Simon Daniels since way back, and I have no qualm saying he's a talented guy. He was good in Jailhouse. He had other projects, but I did think it was a little bit of a stretch trying to say, I'm going to take the band and run with it, especially if the other original members, whether it's Steve or even Regina, Randy's widow, if they're fighting you, challenging it, and saying, "Yeah, we don't want you to do this now," you got to step back. It's not a good look, and I think in the end, I think you're right. I don't think, and I don't think it's going to be autographed at a certain point, and I already have the headline written, and when the article is posted, you will all see it.
I am fortunate that I got to hear a sneak peek of it. It's good. But yeah, I think get the headline ready. Okay. But for those who are like it, they're there on the boat. Next up is Shiraz Lane. Do you know this one?
I don't know anything about them either. I'm guessing probably European of some sort, some kind of modern glam, 2000 teens, 20s kind of teens, meaning 2015, 18. I've heard the name a little bit, but I don't know a lot about them.
Okay, hold on. I got a super chat, so we have to pause for that because that's very important. And this is from Phil, and he says, "Thank you for the great content. It helps me be inspired." Well, thank you. Look, inspiring is not what I expected today, but if it's working, I appreciate it, and I thank you for the support. And everyone should follow in his lead. Now, I get confused between Shiraz Lane and a thing called Shays Kane. Shays Kane is a female singer. She's on Frontier. She's a cute young girl. She's very pop, though. Her music sounds kind of like Tiffany to me, more
Really?
than say metal. But here's Michelle. Michelle knows. Shiraz Lane is also Finnish. Michelle is my life coach,
What
and
she
so
said,
yeah,
they're Finnish.
Finnish.
Okay.
She knows a lot of these bands. Obviously, I only talk to people who are much younger than me. So, so anyway, Shays Kane, she sells photos on her website of her butt and some underwear. That's kind of what I gathered. And she has a pop kind of song, but I'd like to see her on the boat, and maybe Shiraz Lane too. Next up is Rhino Bucket. That's an interesting one. You could probably shed some light on Rhino Bucket.
I've known that band forever. I know George. George is Finnish as well, even though they have a huge following over there because he is Finnish, if I'm not mistaken.
A lot of
But
these bands would be considered finished, but that's a whole different thing. Go ahead.
I love George. Those first couple records, Get Used to It and whatever. I mean, those are great records. I mean, that's a guy that could have sang in AC/DC and sounded great. But you know, um,
Female drummer, right?
well, the drummer was a guy, and then became Jackie Anx ENX, which Metal Sludge did some stuff with her way back.
Mhm.
I don't know if the drummer's still involved though. And then I think the bass player's name is Liam, right? When I played in Austria, he came to a show. We did a Shameless show, and he showed up, and he was living in Austria. So I don't know if he's from there originally, but I like the Bucket. Rhino Bucket's cool. George is a good guy, hard workers, And then obviously, like you said, Brian Damage Forsyth plays with them as well.
Yeah, great guy. Eats a little too much meat, I think. Stevie, do you ever see his Facebook?
Who?
That's Brian Forsyth. You got to look
No.
at his. You got to look at Brian Forsyth's social media. He believes in an all-animal diet, just meat, no bread, no sugar, no nothing, no sauce, just meat. He enjoys Five Guys. He likes to have 5 bacon cheeseburgers, no bread.
Wow.
And he likes to put duck eggs. If he's going to add eggs, it's duck eggs. But he says that you should eat meat every day for every meal, and he believes that it's healthy. I like Brian, by the way. He was on the show and had a great story. But I don't know. Maybe he's onto something. I don't think I could
Yeah.
eat them. I don't think that Jackie Yanks is in the band anymore. But they, even though he did have the become a woman, identified as a woman, whatever the correct term is,
Right.
they did play together though for a while. I believe that Jackie
Right.
was in the band.
Yeah.
So ahead of their time. Okay, who's next here? Tora Tora. I heard that Tora Tora is all original. I should have pointed that out.
Don't know a lot about them other than this. I saw this singer when I was just in Nashville, and you know, that dude can sing his ass off. He's a great singer.
Yeah,
I
I
forget what his
don't know
name
much.
is, but he's very good.
Yeah, I remember the one
Very good.
video that was on Headbangers Ball. I would like to poke in and watch a little bit. I mean, I want to see what I missed all those years ago.
Right. Right.
Next up is Junkyard, another great example of the same thing.
Yeah.
Not everyone got to see him.
Yeah. Very cool. Cool stuff. Those first couple records are great. I know that the singer at some point had fallen on some hard times, and I guess what he was going to sell his vest or something. So then some people started a GoFundMe, and they raised a whole bunch of money for him. So he was having some issues. I think too much booze, and isn't that one of their songs? But hopefully he got his stuff together. You know.
He was on the show via the phone. He sounded like he
Right.
was doing better. He was an incredibly a nice guy, and
Right.
so hopefully things are better. Next up is Mac Sabbath. That's a bunch of guys who dress up like Big Macs, right? McDonald's
Yeah,
character.
I've seen that. That's actually fucking hysterical. Like the Hamburglar, and yeah, the singer is a Big Mac, and then I think the drummer's like the fucking Hamburglar burglar, and there's Ronald McDonald up there. You know, I don't know. It's pretty funny.
People seem to like it. A lot of people in the chat saying they enjoy Mac Sabbath. That sounds like a fun thing late at night. Why not check it out? Next up, we Shays Kane. We talked about her. Liliac is next. They are from Transylvania. Johnny believes they are vampires. It's a family act. They're very nice. They play Dio. They're like the Partridge Family of Romanian, Transylvanian metal. Have you
Correct.
seen
I
that?
think the kids were all born here, but the parents are of Romanian descent. So yes. And do you know what the word Liliac means?
You know what? I think you told me. Either you told me or they told me. It's some kind of vampire thing.
It it means bat.
Mm,
It means bat in Romanește, the Romanian language.
yeah, you're familiar. You speak it fluently. I notice.
Well, not fluently, but partially fluent. And for those that are listening and wondering how is that possible, my kid's mother is from the Drobeta Târgu, Romania, which is
Yeah,
90 miles from Transylvania.
yeah, absolutely. I did know that, and yeah, and that is why you're so familiar. It's also why your surgery went so well. All right. Uh, let's see. Next up is Burning Witches. I don't know much about it. I know there's women in the band,
All
and I
girl
know,
band.
yeah, and that
Yeah.
one of them is Courtney Cock from the band, from not from the show Friends, but she's from the
The
Iron
Iron
Maiden.
Maidens. Yeah, I think they're also European. They might be German or something like that.
Yeah, Courtney Cox. She's very nice. She's been on the
Right.
show and a very talented guitar player. So, Burning Witches. Next up is the Cruel Intentions. You know a little bit about this one.
Great band. That's Lizzie Devine, the singer from Veins of Jenna, who I managed back in their heyday. And then Lizzie at some point went back to Sweden and started a new band with a couple of guys from Norway. And I believe they're based out of Oslo, Norway. And they've put out a couple of different records. And if you liked the Veins of Jenna band or those kind of hardcore superstar, crazy licks type of stuff. They've got that Scandinavian thing going on, and they're great. So I'm stoked for them. I'm stoked for Lizzie and all the guys to get on the cruise and enjoy it. You know.
Yeah, I'm going to check that out. Next up, we're wrapping up here. Janet Gardner, the original singer of Vixen.
And that's the one with the husband that plays guitar or something, right?
Yeah. It's a family thing. I like Janet Gardner. I like Vixen's songs. 2014, I went on the cruise and I went to watch Vixen because I wasn't really that familiar, to be honest. I
Hmm.
knew the hits, but I enjoyed it and I thought they were good. At that point, it was 3 or 4 original. The guitar player had passed. Now Vixen is down to a drummer. It's interesting because Larry Moran, who runs the cruise, manages Vixen, and I guess has stayed in good terms with Janet Gardner. She was a late addition, uh, but they've got catchy songs, and I guess her and her husband will be playing your favorite style acoustic.
Yeah, I mean he spreads the wealth. You know, Larry's a good guy. He's given a lot of opportunities to all the bands, and you know, it's a great opportunity for someone to go on the cruise and say, you know, hey, we can literally see. I mean, without exaggeration. I mean, without completely killing yourself, you could probably see 3 or 4 shows a day. I mean, you could see 25
Yeah,
concerts in a week, and you pay a fee, you get on, you get a cabin, you eat, you drink, you hang out by the pool, and you get to mingle with most of these guys. They're accessible, and the shows are it's convenient. And I'll say this for older people, and you know, not to be too graphic, but you know how it is. You go to a concert, you got to use the bathroom, you want to take a shit, you want to go to the bathroom, whatever. You got to go into a public restroom and stand around for 10 minutes behind 15 stinky people and then go and use a bathroom there at Ozfest or something. With this, you literally can walk to your cabin, use your bathroom, change your underwear, put
mhm.
on some dry shirt and some deodorant, and say, "Hey, now let's walk up to the pool deck and watch so and so play." You
Yeah,
know,
you can make
so
fashion changes every
convenient.
half hour, and some of these guys will be at the bar all night. Some of the smaller guys and bands, or maybe the guys in Faster Pussycat, not Tammy. At 3 in the morning, they'll still be looking for a trim, as the kids say. You know, Johnny. I mean, excuse me, Stevie. I'm thinking of Johnny because he's late. But Stevie, one thing that you and I have in common, besides we both have a great head of hair, is that we're not drinkers. We don't drink. For people who, even though I am sporting my Isaac the Bartender shirt, I think
Right.
that a lot of people on the boat, though they like to get drunk, I'm warning people to pace themselves. They have champagne when you sail away. Don't have it all because you will black out, and the next 4 days you'll be in misery. That's my
Well,
take.
you know, I was thinking, is it going to be like I'm at the Rainbow for 5 days straight? And
Right.
I
Good enough.
realized it's not. It's not
No.
like that. You know, I mean, you can. The ship is so big. There's so many different levels and decks and pools and spas and casinos and restaurants and pizza parlors and piano bars and gyms and spas and salons. I mean, there's a section in a lot of these in the middle of the boat it's almost like a mini mall. There's like 20 or 30 stores. You can go shopping, you can buy clothes, you can get a Starbucks and sit on a, out by a hot tub or two and just enjoy yourself. So it's not like you have to see a concert or have to be surrounded by drunk people the whole time, because I would be up at 6:30 or 7 in the morning and walk up and go to one of the the buffet areas where they were having breakfast, and I'd be having coffee and eating breakfast with all the normal people who went to bed at a normal time, you know? And so, other people are stumbling out of bed at, 10, 11, 12 noon, 2 in the afternoon, and then doing what they do, starting to drink again, but it's not a 24/7 party unless you want it to be.
I agree. I was going to say, for those who can get up early, the boat is very quiet, and there's a lot of space to go and do things. There's a
Exactly.
beautiful track that you can go walk on, get a nice view. And as Stevie said, the boat is so big that you can go and have your own, get lost. And yeah, it is not drunk people falling over on you the whole time or anything
Correct.
like that. And then there's stops in beautiful ports and things to do. And It's a fun time, and I don't know. There may still be cabins available. I know it's 2 days away, but there's always people who couldn't make it the last second. Loudness, for example, their cabins are probably available. Uh, Roast Tattoo, but there's always who knows. They got a group on the Facebook where the people can sort of trade, or someone's looking for a roommate. You made a great point. It's spread out. You get to see a lot of bands that you might not have seen otherwise. And unlike a festival where you're stuck in one place all day, you get to spread it out over the days. And I know also people make a lot of friends. I've made friends, people that from other countries that I've stayed in touch with since that cruise 10 something years ago.
Exactly. And each venue is different. There's different places you can see, like, you might see a band on the pool stage one day, and then you might see them in a lounge a couple days later. And when I say lounge, I mean a 300 seat club setting.
Mhm.
Um, every venue is different. Obviously, they're not going to put the Cruel Intentions as a baby band, so to speak, in the theater that holds 1,500 people. The
Right.
theater is going to be for Tesla, Tom Kiefer,
Stephen
um,
Pearson.
yeah, Piercy, Warrant, Winger, somebody that's got a bigger history and is going to draw more people. So, but there's a whole variation of ways you can see the bands and watch and enjoy it, and you can literally watch part of the set, and if you say to yourself, oh my god, I shouldn't have had that Chinese food at the buffet, I think I'm going to have diarrhea, you can go to your room, go to the bathroom, and 15 minutes later be back at the same venue and watch the rest of the show. So
Yeah. Yeah. What a elegant way to put it. Yeah. Let's see here. Yeah, it's people are just so funny. Let's see. I just scratch my head sometimes when I read these comments. It's like
okay,
the
if
metal.
anybody has questions for me, let them rip, because I've got to go rinse my mouth with some
Yeah, we're gonna.
some
Yeah, I'm gonna
some
let. Yeah, I'm gonna let
dental
Stevie.
prescribed mouthwash that I need to put in since I had this surgical procedure on my face last week.
Stevie's gonna go get some oral care, and then and then maybe Johnny Monaco will show up. If not, we'll wrap it up. I still got packing to do. The question that people keep asking is they're obsessed with is how are you so jacked with muscle?
Um, and I will apologize that my Billy Bob teeth joke didn't go over too good. Uh, I
It
don't
was
know. I'm not a skinny small guy. I've never been a small guy. So I work out. Um, as a matter of fact, I'm in my sun porch, and to my look at that. Right there is my
nice,
bench.
old school.
I've got a little enclosed deck sunroom off my living room, and I've got a bench, I've got a heavy bag, I've got curling bars, I've always been active, going to the gym. Even back in the day, I was going to Gold's Gym, and I would see Bobby Rock at the gym. I would
Mhm.
see Kane Roberts at the gym. So yeah, I've always been a little bit of a gym guy. Not a total gym rat. I don't go 5 days a week, 12 months out of the year. I'll work out for 6 months, then I won't do anything for 3 months. Then I'll work out for 4 months and I won't do anything for 6 months. So, but to the people that have never met me, and then they do meet me years later, they say, wow, you're bigger or taller than I thought too. Like I don't know if they thought I was going to be like fives, like built like Steve Whiteman of Kicks or something, but I've never been a small, skinny guy.
Yeah, you mentioned Bobby Rock. Bobby Rock is a vegan. That is the opposite of the Brian Forsyth diet. But
Right.
but he is incredibly muscular. He proves you can get protein other places if that's what you want to do.
Right.
Drummer Boy Jones has a good question. What is the details of the Janie Lane tribute that Stevie is doing in Ohio?
Well, it's not that I'm doing, but Tough is part of it. The Janie Lane tribute is something that Billy Morris has done in Cleveland. He's done it multiple times. It's not an annual thing. He hasn't done it every year, but he's done it several years in the last 10 or so. That he'll For all those that know, obviously Billy was in Warrant.
Mhm.
Billy's from Cleveland. Janie's from Cleveland. They have a little bit of history being Ohio guys. And when Joey Allen had left Warrant in the 90s, I don't know if he quit or if he was fired, but obviously Joey found himself out of the band.
Right.
And at some point, Billy was brought in. So Billy was in the band with Janie and with Jerry and with Eric, with the core guys.
Yeah, I saw
And
it.
then, over the years, Janie was kind of in and out of the band, and it seemed like every time that Janie was out, Billy was out as well. Billy was kind of a package deal with Janie. And then when Janie went solo, Billy played in his band for many of the shows as well. So Billy has got a history with Warrant, with Janie. And this show we're going to be doing in Cleveland is at Temple Live on Saturday, May 20th. And it's a tribute to Janie Lane, which Billy Morris Band will be the headliner playing a set of Janie Lane music. From what I understand, Bobby Brown is coming into town with her daughter Taylor
From New Edition, right? Yeah.
to act as a quote unquote host and I guess introduce bands or something. Janie's brother Eric is going to show up, and he's going to play Uncle Tom's Cabin, which for all those who are diehards will know that Eric actually played the intro to Uncle Tom's Cabin on the record.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. So anyway,
And
well, I'm going to wrap up.
Tough is on the bill as the support, so we'll be opening the show. Then there's like a couple local openers, but it's the Billy Morris Band that's the headliner doing a set of Janie Lane / Warrant music, and there's going to be some various special guests related to Janie and his history.
Yeah. All right. Well, Stevie, we're going to wrap up in just a minute. And I'm going to bring in somebody else for a little bit. But hopefully he's not going to be doing the Billy Bob gag now that you've already done it. Uh, but you never know. Stevie, tell me where people can check you out
All the
besides your
typical,
backyard.
go to the Metal Sludge site. The store's there. Go to toughcds.com. There's a store there. Obviously, there's an entire catalog of RLS Records has been around since 1994, releasing tough music and other related, whether it was Wild Side, Nitro, Kings of Sunset Strip, Veins of Jenna, my solo stuff, a variation of music on both CD, vinyl. We've even had some cassette pieces from back in the day, which I haven't reissued any cassettes recently, but there are some cassettes of old products from the 90s on the various stores, and all the swag and merchandise that goes with it.
Yeah, so you can check that out. And Metal Sludge, always a good time. Always breaking news. People want to say it's just people making dick jokes and telling rumors, but a lot of news and stories being broken over there.
And how about the latest one?
Tell me.
Crazy Town.
Crazy Town, yeah, Crazy Town are beating each other up during the shows. The guy who is the rapper has to sing and then cover both parts. I guess he didn't do it very well. Shifty, that's his name. He was angry and he beat up the other guy. He told him he loved him while he beat him up, but he wants his money.
And then the other guy said, "I'm going to slit your baby's throats at 3 a.m, right?"
I believe so.
I was
Shifty,
like, "Is he really saying that?"
Shifty was banging Punky Brewster at one time. I've heard allegedly, and
Wow.
I hope that she gets safe. I reached out to Shifty for an interview quite some time ago. He didn't respond. I'm surprised. He seemed like
That is a
someone
great stage name.
yeah, Shifty Lazar.
Shifty Shell Shock.
Yeah. So yeah, that is a good story. You want to read more about it?
Yeah,
Go to Metal
we
Sludge.
covered it, and the headline is Crazy Clown. So
Stevie, before you go, I want you. We're talking about Jacked and all those things. I want you to say hello to Johnny Monaco. Here he is, Johnny Monaco.
wow.
What is
Johnny? Can you hear us?
Yeah, what's happening over there?
Well, if you just tuned in, it looks like Stevie is doing hard time,
How long have I been gone?
and he's got weights.
I'm
the
wearing my Oshkosh Bagosh overalls and a straw hat.
It's the Witness Protection Program.
Yeah, it was interesting. But Yeah, Stevie and I went through the bands. Johnny, you're probably lucky that we did it because I don't think you would have had much to offer on a lot of those bands.
I was trying to get here in time. I had to do something.
I love Johnny, and I'd love to hang out, but I gotta go take some medication, and I gotta put some of this medical stuff in my mouth right now because I had this mouth surgery last weekend, and
I agree.
my mouth is fucked up. So
Stevie,
excuse
thank
my
you.
language.
Thank you
But thank you for having me, Jason. Nice seeing you, Johnny.
Nice seeing you. I'll see you. Are you going to be on the boat?
No, he's
I
not.
won't be on the boat.
He
But
said
you guys have fun.
he'll be there eventually. I bet he'll be back.
All right.
Yes.
Okay.
Thanks,
All right.
Stevie. Talk soon.
Okay, guys, rock and
Thank you.
roll.
Yeah.
All right, that was Stevie Rochelle. Johnny, you're in the process of dyeing your hair, or did you have an accident?
I need to wash this out like immediately. So I try to get here quick. These people don't know how to drive. I mean,
Did you drive with your hair like that?
Yeah. I kind of do it ghetto. You know, I could have stayed there and washed it out, but I thought I'd get home in time and it would be time to do it, but it took a longer to get home. And Jennifer Stolman, she's watching right now.
Oh, good. She's a hairstylist.
She gave me this brush. She gave me this compact brush too. See, this looks like I did something else today, doesn't it?
Johnny, I have a hairstylist. You know, you have a hairstylist. I've got a hairstylist too, and it's Johnny Monaco. Johnny, it's growing in very nicely, and I can see the layers now. Now I just fell out of bed. I didn't do anything. There's no product. There's no brushing. There's no nothing. It's just this is all natural, and
looks good. Yeah, looks good.
Well, thank you. Okay. It's been interesting. Did you get to see any of Stevie Rochelle's interview?
I didn't know. Yeah, everyone's a fucking comedian. You know, I tried to watch a little bit in the beginning. I didn't know who it was or what was happening, and I figured it out. Went on for a while. I don't know.
I wish you got here earlier because while I realized he was doing a character and trying to have some fun, it was awkward.
Yeah, that's
because I also didn't know when he was going to break the character.
Yeah, it went on for a while.
He's trying material. They have a comedy night on the cruise. I won't go to that.
Do they? Do they have a comedy night?
Yeah, Simon from Autograph. No, he's not doing it. It's the guy from Queensryche. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Who's ready to laugh?
Yeah. I don't. Anyway, I don't go near those things. But if those who do, but Stevie probably was working out material in case.
Is that what that was? Yeah. Everyone's a fucking comedian. You know, like someone in the chat here, real fucking funny. You know, they think they're just stupid shit.
They are, yeah. Well, listen, this is a great audience. There's over 200 people here.
Not that one.
No, but some say stupid shit.
Yeah. Let me find
I want to address Chris C. Chris C. asks, is Scott Coogan out of the Rat Bastards? No. Scott Coogan is on tour with heavy metal superstar Tiffany. And so while he's out on the cruise, Will Hunt will play drums for Steven for those two shows. Will Hunt is an exceptional drummer. He was in the band. Really he was in band Evanescence, and he was also in Slaughter. He's a very nice guy. In addition to being a great drummer, he lives in Florida. It was very convenient that he do the gig. So I wanted to know because Steven put out a thing today, and it looked a little bit as if he was welcoming a new drummer, and I think people were confused.
Oh.
He's just filling in. Indie Cult 777, one of my favorite viewers. Johnny and Jason, who was the most famous person you ever met, and did you like them? Interesting. Johnny, good question. If you want me to go first, I can.
I don't know if I.
Most famous person I ever met, and my knees were shaking. Paul McCartney from the Beatles. If you didn't know, formerly of the Beatles. He was going to see. What's the name of the guy who sang Hallelujah and can't swim? Jeff Buckley.
Oh. Jeff
Buckley was opening for Juliana Hatfield at the Roseland Ballroom. Me and my friend were walking up the street, and we recognized Paul McCartney's limousine. And we were so excited. And my friend and his girlfriend, they went at the time. They went. We bought flowers to try to bribe Paul McCartney to take a picture and let it say hello. So we went. We bought these flowers. Paul was with Linda McCartney at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff Buckley's father, I believe, was a famous singer at the old days. Paul McCartney came out. The security, we swarmed, as they say.
Mm-hmm.
I was like running back. I got through the crowd, but my friends got tackled. And Paul McCartney asked me what he saw the flowers. And he said, "What is it that you want?" And we said, "We would like to take a picture with you, Paul, Sir Paul." And he let us do that. And he freed my friends from the ground. And he accepted the flowers. And we took pictures with Paul and Linda McCartney, which was incredible. I will say another famous person that I met, Donald Trump.
Oh,
yeah.
lovely.
Yeah. Johnny, how about you?
Elvis Costello. You hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, he was nice. He didn't say much. I mean, I don't know what to say to him. It's kind of like freaked out when I met him, but he was fine. Other famous people. I think I might have met Jeffrey Berkowitz.
The son of Sam.
Just kidding. I met his dog. It was at a PetSmart, so he was kind of snooty.
David Berkowitz, you're getting your Jews mixed up.
That's right. No, I have to rinse this out of my hair or it's going to all fall out.
Yeah, can you just do that while we're talking?
I don't know. I mean, I could sort of do that. I don't think I could keep these in my ear. So let's do this.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Let's make sure you don't have any nip snips. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, right.
Protect yourself. That's the only thing. Yeah, we can check back in and out with you, Johnny, as you go, but just make sure you cover your junk, as they say.
Right.
And then so Johnny's going to rinse his hair, as any a good person on the show will be. Johnny will take care of that. And I'm going to
if I do this. Oh wait, I'll just go like this.
Yeah, just take your clothes off in the shower. Yeah, close your.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Did you ever think you guys would see the day that Stevie Rachelle played Billy Bob and Johnny Monaco took a shower? It's an interesting thing. Okay, let's take some of the questions. What's the matter? Too hot?
Why don't you come upstairs and see me sometime, boy? Oh, the clip. That's what it was.
You guys act like you've never seen a grown man shower on a podcast.
Shut up, yeah. Oh, man. All right.
All right, so we'll check in. Johnny, we'll check in with you as time goes on. Let's see. Jason Holstein, thank you for being a member. Oops, that's the wrong one, but he's okay too. Jason, thank you for being a member. A YouTube member is a new thing that we're running here. Of course, you know we have super chat, super thanks, and a super sticker. It's terrible for somebody who stutters with all these S's. But let's see here. Thank you, Eric, also a member. Much appreciated. And
Tell that one guy to shut up.
yeah, if I see the one guy, I'll let him know.
His name is Biff. Fuck
Biff,
that guy.
yeah. All right, I'm going to keep an eye out for Biff. Susan thinks you should sing while you're in the shower.
Huh?
Susan would like you to sing.
Oh. Okay.
This is Donnie. Johnny in its natural habitat.
I gotta play another gig tomorrow.
Yeah.
I thought I have a day off. This is getting ridiculous.
Jason, what is your favorite sitcom of all time, and what is your favorite sitcom theme song? It would be a cross between The Odd Couple and Sanford and Son. Somebody asked about Donald Trump. Brian, I think, asked how was he. He was very nice. He was a New Yorker. He went to everything. I'm a New Yorker. You see him, and you're a New Yorker. I'm a New Yorker. Both New Yorkers. And he was fine. I knew that he was a kind of a character. I thought that he would make a great mayor. I thought maybe he could even make a great governor. You know, he kind of was a character, and he did bankrupt Atlantic City, unfortunately. But anyway, that's it. He was fine. There's a picture of it somewhere. And let's see. Okay. Live to Jam. Thank you for the super sticker. Thank you. I'm seeing Steven in Oroville, California in June. Do we buy the meet and greet at the show? Yes, the meet and greet is available at the merch table. At the merch table, and Brittany Fox will be on that bill. How's it going, Johnny? Be careful, monetization.
I can't reach it. My soap.
Johnny, I took you out for a second. I took Johnny out. I don't trust him. I don't know what he's up to. We'll go back to Johnny in a second. Okay, let's see here. Yes, Jason, it's true. You know, at the top of the show, I talked about people who try to be funny or content creators. Johnny just walked completely naked across that bathroom. Thank God we took him out of the frame for monetization reasons. But we talked about some shows that have nothing to do, yet talk negative about people, including me and Johnny, actually. And in this show, you get Stevie Rochelle working out new material, and you get Johnny Monaco rinsing the hair dye out. And so everyone seems to be enjoying it. The ladies apparently are enjoying it as well. Trying to read everybody's comments. I apologize that I was so far behind on comments. Yes, don't drop the soap. Apparently, he forgot the soap. Oh, Mark Sanchez is going to be in Oroville as well. I'm looking forward to it. You're flying to Sacramento. If you're flying, if someone mentions the back to school shower scene, yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys. Yeah, and oh, Mickey, just letting you know, Johnny is in the shower. Yes, he was completely naked a moment ago. We'll check on him. Yeah, he's in there. I promise. And, rinsing his hair.
Oh boy, soap.
So there's Johnny. If you guys were wondering, and let's see. A lot of people.
Boy.
Yeah, Johnny's being attended to. Dan D says, "Great to see you at the whiskey in December." Yeah, maybe we could do that again. Who knows? Let's see. Mickey says you're a Pop-Tart.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, he's aware. And then Jason's here. Jason says he doesn't.
Oh boy!
Careful, Johnny.
Soap towel. Oh boy!
All right. I'm taking Johnny out. But yeah. All right, we'll bring Johnny back when the hair dye is out. I thank you guys for watching. It's amazing that well over 200 people are still sitting here through thick and thin as well. You know, just a little bit on the cruise. Yeah, Stevie was selling it as best he could, not because we get anything for it, but because it is a good time. And he like it was a little skeptical, especially when you're not a drinker. I didn't have a problem with drinking, although I will tell you they have meetings on the boat for people who do. There's a lot of artists who are sober. There's a lot of artists who have trouble being sober. That happens, and some people don't. It's a lot to be on a boat for that many days if you have dependency issues. So anyway, but so for me, it's a little bit different. You know, sometimes when you're sober and you look at drunk people, it can be exhausting. Or a grown man in the shower. There he is, checking in on Johnny. And
Yeah. Whatever they want. Still the Kings.
I don't know what he said, but there's a scene in the movie Arthur where Sir John Gielgud, Academy Award winner, Sir John Gielgud says to Arthur, "Would you like me to wash your dickie?" And I feel like Johnny needs a manservant like that. Wind War thinks that Johnny's package will increase clicks. Michelle Simon loves the show. Heavy Metal Beer Club. Hey, Heavy Metal Beer Club, who also says the cruise is a blast. It is so great that we got to meet in wherever city we were in. Where were we? Arizona of some sort. Tucson, Arizona. It was so great to meet you guys, Johnny and I. I think Johnny has a towel on. All right, hold on. There, Johnny, you're on camera again.
All right. Hey, you
Johnny's-
know, those haters can say whatever they want. Still the Kings.
Mm-hmm. Johnny, that's right. Well, yeah, a lot of haters. But Johnny, the Heavy Metal Beer Club is here. Do you remember? They were very nice.
I do remember. She said she gave her husband a haircut after we talked.
Yeah, they're very nice people. You know, it's a funny thing because I tour manage, but it's so nice that to get to meet people in between working and yeah. Anyway, thank you guys. You guys are great. Edwin says he loves the show. Thank you so much.
Right.
Johnny's got a little feedback coming out.
Got a little. You might want to mute. You can keep me on, but I got to turn the hairdryer on.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Johnny's muted right now. Keep your pants on too, Johnny. Anyway, Mark Sanchez says he's going to go see Gary Kramer of Kramer Guitars. Could see about doing an interview. I think that would be great. Would be an interesting interview. Johnny has ripped upside down abs. And yeah, thank you guys. Again, it was nice to meet you. Will Johnny be cutting hair on the cruise? This is a question that is being asked a lot. People are telling me they would pay big money for Johnny to cut their hair. He's thinking about it when I last heard. Right now, he's drying his hair. Red Fox, a reference here. You got to wash your ass. One of the greatest albums of all time, Red Fox holding his nose in front of a jackass. And it's called "You Gots to Wash Your Ass" when comedy was still comedy. And the joke is you got not just wash your whole ass, but your asshole. If you're a fan of Red Fox, you big dummy. I was gonna get a Watch It Sucker T-shirt to go with my Isaac the Bartender. Okay, Skid Row touring Vegas. Are you going? If I'm home and one of those guys invites me, Scotty Hill is the one in that band that I know the best. Maybe. I don't know. I'm traveling a lot. Jason, Neil, a fan of the journalism. As I said at the top of the show, everybody's a YouTuber. Everybody's an influencer. Everybody's funny. But it's the hard-pressed facts and news and quality entertainment that this show brings you. That is why people watch it. That's why there's over 300 people in the chat right now watching a man blow dry his hair while another jackass talks about Red Fox. This is serious. And okay, I'm just showing some of your comments. Okay, I'm not going to tempt Johnny to do any of these things because he might, and then my show will have as many views as the haters. The haters. Yeah, and as much as I think Chris is an idiot, he makes a good point. I just had a guy in a straw hat on with fake teeth. So, okay. All right. Bendejo, or Bendeo, would like me to out the hater. I don't do that because only an asshole would sit there and talk shit about you and chuckle. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. Eric, thank you so much for the super chat. As we say, thank you. We need another Johnny driving video to pick up more strings before the cruise. Well, I think he must be stocked, but who knows? I mean, we're leaving very soon. I will tell you, I ordered a new suitcase. I ordered a lot of things through Amazon to be prepared for this trip. And Taskmaster bringing up the question, is Mick Mars a victim of elder abuse? Motley Crue, speaking of assholes, will do anything to pass the buck. They're trying to claim that Mick Mars has attorneys who are looking to get money. Mick Mars is not a stupid man. He knows that those guys are attempting to rip him off. And he's not going to let them get away with it. Elder abuse. It's ridiculous. Plug your basin. Okay, so um, uh, Sanford and Son quote Desmond. I like the time Lamont's aunt, which is Aunt Esther, said, "I hit you. I hit your lips so hard. I bet they would make it to the hospital before the ambulance will." That's a good one, but my favorite is Esther. I'm gonna put your face in the freezer and make gorilla cookies. That's my favorite. Or gorilla sickles, excuse me. That one's gorilla sickles. Another time he tells her, "I'm gonna put you in the oven and make gorilla cookies." So those are some of my favorites. And yes, we all stand behind Mick Mars. We're not going to see Motley Crue. I wasn't going anyway. Um, so let's see. Wow, there's so many people watching. Um, Again, interviews coming up this Friday. Stephen Piercy of RATT will be on the show. You can go into the description and you can order the new RATT box set, the Atlantic Years. I think Johnny's ready to talk. Hold on.
Oh,
Johnny, how's it going?
that came out good.
Yeah, look at that. Beautiful. Jennifer Stolman did fantastic work. I'm surprised she didn't want you just to shower in her house like that.
Well, I probably could have just done it in the sink there, but I figured, what is that? Oh, I figured I'd be home, and I did it last time. I got right home and I just rinsed it out. It's just easier, than doing it there.
Were you able to watch the show?
I watched a little bit of it, but I kept losing the reception. I missed like the first half or something. What happened?
Yeah. Well, it's like it's like I'm running a ham radio show.
Yeah.
The ham radio network. No, I was addressing at the top of the show that there are haters in the world, and usually the people who are haters are people who are not successful. They're not attractive. They're not talented, and then they use their forum, even if it doesn't have many people, to try to say negative, terrible things, and then to your face act like everything is great. And it's awkward, Johnny. It's awkward because
that's unfortunate. It's just I mean, I know some people like that.
Yeah, it's a shame, but leopards can't change their spots or their hairstyle, if you will. I'm going to take him out for a second. Hold on. I don't trust Johnny. If he's going to put those pants on, there's no way he'll get this right. Absolutely. Johnny's balls will be on display, and then, no, we'll go back to him. Michelle makes an interesting point. Michelle Simon, not my Michelle, not my Michelle. That I talk about other people. Well, but I don't talk about people that I work with. I don't act nice to somebody's face and then say things. It's very different. And what we do, in a lot of ways, is a comedy license. It's not meant to be hateful. It's a very different thing. Let me see if I can go back to Johnny.
I think what you're referring to is a false equivalence, right?
I'm not even sure what that means.
It's comparing the two. It's not the same because there's two different things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, that is true. They are two different things. To do a show and have some humor is one thing. To do a show and insult your friends, your work partners, and everyone around you, it's not necessarily funny. I'm a fan when something's funny, and a good roasting sometimes is funny, Johnny, Monaco, and myself obviously have a thick skin. You can't put yourself on here. I'm on here when I film those tour diaries, those terrible tour diaries that have 100,000 views. I put myself out here sometimes first thing in the morning. Nobody is thrilled with the way they look all the time. Johnny making his bed.
I mean, the problem I have with it all is I could excuse all of that if it was funny.
That's right. Be funny. But sometimes people who aren't funny, Johnny, don't know it. In fact, they think they're very funny.
Yeah, or if it's not funny, at least interesting or have like something like quality about it. So if it's none of those things, and then they're lashing out. It just seems kind of like they're hating on something. I know that's what the kids say. I don't talk like that, but that's what the kids say.
Yeah, it's talking shit for the sake of talking shit. And
Right.
indie cult, I love you, but this is not the time for enough's enough chatter.
What?
When will Johnny do the definitive interview? And I mean, who knows? He's talked about enough's enough. He still talks about enough's enough constantly. So I do appreciate the super chat, but now is not the time. We're trying to deal with a problem in the world of hate and more importantly, unfunny negativity. That is the issue in front of us, if you will.
Yeah. I mean, it offends me as a maker of jokes.
Yes, that's right. Some of us think that people enjoy this. That's why there's so many people watching right now. Other people, maybe they assume no one is watching and that they can just make a jackass of themselves.
We get people that come up to us in every city, just like we did on the past one when we went to Tulupa. And they say how much they enjoyed the show. They say that they like the tour diary because they get to see different stuff, different sides. And basically, you're kind of insulting them when you say a negative, like, how could you watch that?
That is for sure. For anyone who would say you don't know or blame the audience, yeah, you're insulting. It doesn't make sense. So Johnny and I were in Tilapia, Arizona, and we went to a carnival, a fair, if you will, the Pima County Fair. We were on the quest for a good old-fashioned Italian sausage sandwich.
God.
We've been
I'm
on this
still mad about that.
Yeah, and so Johnny was concerned that most of the stands were selling kielbasa, not Italian sausage. Big difference. A couple of places claimed to have hot dogs that were Chicago style. I didn't believe they would be. I thought it would upset Johnny. We finally found a place where we looked back into the grill. They looked like Italian sausages. By the way, a sausage sandwich at the fair was $17.
Oh, God.
So we finally decided we found something that's okay. Then all of a sudden, this flat sandwich came out. They take the sausage, they cut it, and then they put it under a press. And they flatten this. I've never seen anything like it. Johnny and I were upset. We walked into the hospitality area, and we saw Brett Carlisle. Brett Carlisle is the singer for Great White. He's great. And he was very accessible, by the way. He could not have been more accessible. This guy was everywhere.
Yeah.
Out and about.
We saw him he was sitting in the green room, which was where you should be sitting, right next to the stage, and he was in there with his friend. And then when it was time to play,
he wasn't hiding. And by the way, Great White sounded incredible. I will tell you that they sounded incredible, and Slaughter as well. Really great time and great shows. So anyway, Brett Carlisle, he didn't know what the hell to think. He's talking to his friend, someone his age, and Lights Out in London. And John, so I just picture this kid talking, and he's going, I just couldn't think of two more deplorable mental patients ever. And then me and Johnny going, hello. It was very Lenny and Squiggy. And Johnny was so upset about the sausage sandwich that he wasn't concerned about these kids. He was yelling, "What the hell? I can't. And he was so mad. And they were fascinated. And I decided to join Johnny. And me and Johnny stood in front of these young people. And we discussed the problems with the fair, and that most of these young people looked like they were going to do bad things to their school. I don't know what you can say and can't say.
Right.
But they had their black and their slip knot on, and they looked angry. The kids all looked angry. And for you,
you see the parents, you'd be angry too.
Yeah. It was strange. I remember when I was a kid, I went to a thing called the Yonkers Raceway County Fair. Yonkers Raceway was a racetrack, and they'd have the county fair. We'd go out there to Yonkers, and it was fun. And they play music, and you go on rides. I don't know how you could afford to have a date or anything. Everything was incredibly expensive. But yeah. Anyway, they were maybe slightly alarmed by us. But Johnny and I, it was a good trip. We had an incredible dinner. You, I, and Joaquin, we went and we had such an amazing meal. The company and the ambiance, yeah, was fantastic. And I only wish that Matt Thorne would have joined us, but it was really a great time. And if Joaquin's watching, I'm so happy that he's here. But so we had a nice time, and then we hung out with our good friend Dana Strum, who was on the plane with us. A very nice guy. It's funny, he was in the airport sitting across from Steven and us. None of us even recognized him for 2 hours. Thank God we didn't say anything.
I know. I was like, maybe be careful what I say. I turn around, I was like, I didn't see you there.
And and I walk around talking in. I like to talk like Dana often. I don't think he would be offended by that. I think a lot of people have a Dana impression, but he's a good guy, and they were good. So that night we had. Then it was a 9 a.m. sound check. We were up bright and early. For those who don't know how a festival works, the band that is the headliner or the closer has to sound check first. Then next would be the middle band, and so on. That way, the last band, in this case it was Slaughter, is set up for when they go on stage. So yeah, it led to a long day. I made sure to get some footage for the tour diary that everybody loves so much. I can't begin to tell you how much how successful they are. Not everyone knows success, but the tour diaries, they really are. And there's so many more. I will tell you that I'm releasing a 2-part Key West episode. I'm just going to give you some highlights. Johnny and I hitchhike. Johnny loses his phone. The hitchhikers return the phone and then offer us a ride. The problem is they're in a golf cart, and we need to get on a freeway. Golf carts run on battery power. Who knew this? They run out of battery. We had to. This man showed us pictures of a woman, I believe a prostitute, well, multiple women. He told me he used to go to Cuba. Johnny then told him we should go to Cuba right now, and he explained that due to the Winnebago, we could not go. I think, was that the word he used? And so we couldn't go. But then we had to find an outlet, and then we realized he had one leg. And the longest night in history will be in part 2. I visit Robert the Doll. It's controversial. Some of you might not want to watch it. I will point out I visited Robert the Doll right before this haunting happened, this horrible night. Maybe something went wrong. A lot of people have had worse experiences visiting Robert the Doll. Anyway, that's all in part 2. In part 1, I go to the Ernest Hemingway house. I visit the Polycats. I climb a lighthouse. Johnny and I go try key lime pie at Blue Heaven.
It didn't even taste like that. It was like more limey.
It didn't taste like anything like what we expected. A very dark colored meringue.
Larry meringue.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was. But anyway, all of these things you're going to get to watch, and then you see some of the other bands, and and so that's all going to be there. And Heavy Metal Beer Club. Hopefully you asked Robert permission to film. So as you'll see, when I enter the fort where he is housed, I asked permission before I film him at all. I show the entire process, and then I show the process of what it's like there. And a lot of people said they didn't ask permission, and they had really bad experiences. Let's see what else we have here. Let's see. I'm just going through everybody's comments. Some are better than others. Yes, real key lime has food coloring. Yeah, that's correct. It's not really green.
Yeah, I like that better.
Michelle Simon, what's wrong with one leg and people? Well, nothing was wrong with him, but when you see the video, he's a very nice guy. And the story about how he lost his leg is very, what I'm doing is I'm giving you color commentary. Here's Biff, Bilf, this is Johnny's buddy. He says he can do more push-ups than Johnny.
Getting ready for the boat.
Yeah, Johnny's getting ready for the boat.
Oh,
And some people are attracted to Johnny's
going
work.
going in and out after this. So.
Yeah. I read that in December of 2020, the U.S. advised people not to go to Haiti.
Yeah, someone posted that on my page, and I thought it was relevant, but that's from like 3 years ago.
Yes, it's
Who cares about that? Old news.
yeah. But did you read the details of what the problem was?
Was it too many people running around with elephant heads and human bodies?
Well, they were. I will tell you.
Okay, what is it?
This is from 2022 of December. That's not that long ago.
Yeah.
This is from the travels. This is from the government.
All right, what is it?
The U.S. Department State Bureau of Consular Affairs. Do not travel to Haiti due to kidnapping, crime, and civil unrest. U.S. citizens should depart Haiti now in light of the current security and health situation and infrastructure challenges. Here is the country summary. This is the summary of the country. Kidnapping is widespread, and victims regularly include U.S. citizens. Kidnappers may use sophisticated planning or take advantage of unplanned opportunities, and even convoys have been attacked. Kidnapping cases often involve ransom negotiations, and U.S. citizens. Victims have been physically harmed during kidnappings. Victims' families have paid thousands of dollars to rescue their family members. Violent crimes such as armed robbery and carjacking is common. Travelers are sometimes followed and violently attacked and robbed shortly after leaving Port-au-Prince International Airport. Robbers and carjackers also attack private vehicles stuck in heavy traffic congestion and often target lone drivers, particularly women. As a result, the U.S. Embassy requires its personnel to use official transportation to and from the airport. Protest demonstrations, tire burning, and roadblocks are frequent, unpredictable, and contain violence. The U.S. government is extremely limited in its ability to provide emergency services to U.S. citizens in Haiti. Just a few things to know about Haiti. Do not visit establishments after dark without secure on-site parking. This is also the same for downtown Las Vegas. Using any kind of public transportation or taxis, visiting banks or ATMs. Personnel are limited to the embassy area after dark, traveling anywhere between 1 a.m. and 5 a.m. And then it goes on, if you decide to visit Haiti, this is of December 2022, avoid demonstrations and crowds. Do not attempt to drive through roadblocks. Who would do that, by the way?
A lot of rules. I can think of a handful of people who will not be kidnapped.
Yes, I can think of one.
What are we going to do with this one? But sir, I don't want this. I want beauty, young. This is awful.
Terrible. If you are being followed as you leave the airport, drive to the nearest police station immediately. Travel in groups of at least 2. That's why Johnny and I travel together, obviously for safety against headhunters and head shrinkers.
Can you imagine us trying to find the police department in Haiti? Oh boy.
Yeah, they won't know what to make of us. Do not physically resist any robbery attempt. So you just take it. Just go with it.
Oh, I did that for 15 years.
Always keep your vehicle door locked and windows closed while driving. Exercise caution and alertness, especially when driving through markets and other traffic congested areas.
More exercise.
Anyway, listen, I don't think this was like 5 months ago. I'm sure everything's been fixed since then, obviously.
Well, yeah. Well, that was a long time ago. You said it was 3 years ago, right?
2022.
Oh, maybe I read
2 months ago. Now,
okay, well, then maybe we shouldn't go.
Now, Labadee is supposed to be safe. They have their own security, Fife Security International.
Barney Fife Security?
Yes, and they keep an eye on everything. Here's a good one. Roll them up, and that is what Griswold would say if driving through Haiti. Say, Holmes?
Unless you want to be turned into a pigeon hawk. Then welcome to the island of Dr. Labadee. we're gonna sew this animal head onto you right now.
Tokyo Convertible says you don't have to worry at Labadee. Now, I understand that, but I will point out that Labadee was blocked from travel as well. Cruises were rerouted in December to go to other places. So things could happen. I would like to get off, nip it in the butt. I would like to get off and put my feet in the tropic waters of Labadee and then get back on the boat. I don't believe in swimming with dolphins. I'm not sure that it's nice to the dolphins, and I don't think the dolphins want to hang out with you. If you had to hang out with some of the people we did, you certainly wouldn't want to hang out with them either. Somebody's saying that's racist. I'm not sure which part was racist. It didn't say don't go to places where,
Are you talking about dolphins still?
I don't know.
Key lime pie.
But most people. Ben makes a good point. He says Haitians are not partial to tour diaries. He's right. Idiots are not as well. Idiots and Haitians and poor musicians. They hate. They hate. Okay. Michael and Tina are saying hello. Thank you so much. People enjoying Ben's comment. Giuseppe would like to know if we really saw Dick. He meant Andy Dick. He's saying yes, we did.
Oh yeah.
Andy Dick was at the Rainbow. I think that terrible tour diary is available right now.
They threw him out.
They threw him out. Yeah, that's true.
And they took the money out of his pocket that they owed him for the steak.
That's what they said. Yeah, that's very true.
I asked him if he was making it up, and he said, no, that really happened. It happens all the time. We kick him out all the time.
Mm-hmm. We're going on 7 minutes to being on for 2 hours. Yeah, I had to endure Stevie Rochelle's comedy hour by myself.
Oh,
it was strange.
Yeah, that's one word.
The Great Cat was easier. I love Stevie. I think he's great, but and I think he realized at the end that it didn't work. Maybe if he did that on stage, it would have worked better. Anyway, so I'm going to take last call here. This may be the last time you ever see us. Obviously, we're going to. I'm going to take Johnny out of the frame for a second. Hold on, Johnny. I'm taking you out for a second. I'll come back to you. This may be the last chance you ever see us because we're going to Haiti. And in case you didn't know, Johnny and I are prime kidnapping targets. I think that they would bring us back. I'm grateful for all of you who watch. I'm grateful for those of you who support this channel, support the tour diary, support the interviews, everything. Obviously, you're here because there's something you like about it. Hold on, what do we got here? I'm looking for idiots. I don't know. Some of your comments are so stupid.
Not that.
Johnny, don't you? There's people who just like you have to make a point.
I said that earlier. Okay, I said it. And I
make a point. Say what you're saying.
Shut your cake hole, you human garbage.
Yeah, you know who you are. But these people are writing in like Labadian. You know what I mean? Like I can't understand what some of you are saying. Hello, Crypto. Was that your name? Yeah. Hello to you. Michael and Tina enjoyed the Ted Poly interview. I did too. He's a great guy. And Taskmaster says, "Don't go to Haiti," spelled Hatey. Obviously, Georgia wishing safe travels. Georgia, thank you. Maybe the last time we communicate. Desmond thanking Johnny for the guitar picks. Speaking of guitar picks, if you're on the cruise, I have some guitar picks for you. They're right here in this bag. There's a few bags. I'm not talking about some of the chicks that sit by the pool, but this is the they look like moose. This is the front of one of the my come sail away picks. Johnny's like Howie Mandel.
I can't understand.
This pic says, "I wasted some time with Jason Green on the 2023 MORC," and then there's a boat sinking. And yeah. Anyway, these are courtesy of In Tune Guitar Picks. for those who come over to me and are cordial and polite. I would give that to you. Because I love my Patreons and I owe them, some of you guys, because I don't have that. You guys can. I'll send some to you too. And Richie says he loves the content. Thank you so much. Ron enjoys Taskmaster. Like, what's the matter?
Loves the content.
Yeah. Well, he's intelligent.
Kings among troglodytes.
Any chance of having Sebastian Bach on the show during the cruise? So Sebastian Bach is not on this cruise, but he is on the next cruise we do, an 80s cruise. And I think Sebastian Bach would be on. I know Sebastian Bach. I'm not name dropping, but I think he would be on. Just a mere bag of shells. I will tell you that if you guys don't support, you will be stuck with subpar podcasting. And the only major show will be the Eddie Trunk show with his comedian friends. And that's nothing wrong with that. But if you want choice, if you want option, you have to speak with your voice and hit the like button, subscribe, and in this case, give me $5. Live to Jam, thank you so much. Is the Giuseppe Andrews in this chat the actor from Detroit Rock City? I have no idea, but Giuseppe, are you watching, and are you the actor from Detroit Rock City? But anyway, if you don't want to only watch the same old shit, please subscribe, become a member, and Johnny and I appreciate all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Clip. Look at this clip.
Someone, you better return that.
I know. She probably wants this back. This looks like a high-tech one. Look at this thing.
Someone's saying, have Michelle and Bitsy fill in. Bitsy was very ill. I'm going to tell the truth. My cat was sick. She's 17 years old. I thought it was her time. But she has 9 lives. When she was a kitten, she got parvo, and she bounced back. She's a tough cat, and she's kicking. And so
Good.
Thank you to all. Thank you. Yeah, and thank you to everyone who kicked into the what do you call it? The kibble fund. Yeah, it was nice of them. And I was very nervous about traveling. I feel like Johnny's going to put raw eggs into that glass. He looks very Rocky Balboa right now. Yo.
Your podcast is stupid. Oh, yeah? Yeah, it stinks. Oh, some people like it. Shut up.
A little puppet show.
I'm going to go downstairs.
I bet you somebody will think that's terrible. Gunner, patron, thank you so much for the super. That's a super sticker. Thank you, and it'll go to some treats for Bitsy, because I tell you what, the cat is so much better than any people I've ever known. I'm so fortunate. Thank you. My cat has a full head of hair, and strong, and you know what? Entertaining, and
meow 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 meow.
Yeah, she's very good, and but thank you guys for all that support. I couldn't imagine if I said that I think someone's an asshole that they would watch 2 hours of this.
Oh, you never know.
Well, sometimes people do. The Wind War Attack is having this whole thing about how hot Johnny is and having his baby, and Johnny, I think it's a man.
I think it's Ryan.
It's a man, baby. It's Ryan, I think. Yeah.
It's someone who in the past has bought me a $600 lunch.
Well, and for that they can say whatever they want.
I gotta go to the store. When is this happening now? Friday
Morning. We set course onto the plane. We will arrive in Orlando at 5 p.m. We are staying at the same hotel as Striper. I asked them where they were staying, and those guys know where to get a good deal. We'll get up in the morning for church, and then we will make our way to the port. On the first day, Stephen will be doing a meet and greet because people want to meet and greet. I will be there as well. And then And then there's a show on the second day and a show on the fourth day. One day, Stephen Pearcy on the pool stage, one day on the theater stage. My goal is to put out a terrible tour diary every single day that I'm there.
Be on the plane with us. Some of the great white Scott Snyder's going to be there. Because I've been dragging their Kendall's $600 cable around the whole planet. Because someone came up to me at the end of the set and said, "This is your cable. One of you guys left it." And I said, "It's not mine." And they're like, "Yeah, it is." I'm like, "I'm not going to argue." And then I asked Mark Slaughter, because we're friends now. I have his phone number. I have Mark Slaughter's phone number. And he said, remember, he was sitting right there. He's like, "Do you have my number?" I said, "I don't think so." And he gave it to me.
That's what I used to do with girls back in the day. I'd say, "Hey, I'll text you or call you." And I didn't have their number. And they go, "But you don't have my number." I go, "Oh, that's right.
He gave me his number. So I messaged him and I said, "Is this one of your guys' cable?" And he said, "No, definitely not." And then I got a call from the Great White guys. And it's Mark Kendall's cable.
Yeah. But so
Scott
Snyder is on our flight?
Yeah, because he lives here. So he's going to.
Well, I know that. But so
Yeah,
you're going to meet him at the airport?
Yeah, so now I got to, I thought I would just give it to you, come over here and get it or something. But now I got to, it's not a big deal. It's a small cable. It's heavy, though. And there's weight limits to luggage. But I'm going to take it to the airport. And at the gate at 5 in the morning, I'm going to give him Kendall's cable.
You sound like you're talking like you have throat cancer.
What the hell is that?
Where's your microphone?
What?
You're having audio problems.
Oh. Jeez. Unbelievable. How about now? Can you hear it?
That still doesn't sound good.
Oh, something's wrong.
You started talking about Great White, and now I don't know. I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, no.
Huh? Well, there goes Johnny. I don't know what happened. I think he might be being held captive by the Haitians, or Labadians, if you will. Hopefully Johnny was not abducted, but who knows? He's been flaunting himself on this stream. So anyway, I think that will be that. We'll be in Orlando on Friday night with Michelle Simon. Friday night by the airport. That's where we mingle. Anyway, hold on. Let's see. I think Johnny's broken free from the Labadians. Johnny, are you okay?
Yeah, it was a close call.
Yeah, I thought they were. You were abducted.
There was an elephant drunk driving a car.
Mm-hmm.
So how far did I get with that? Really quick.
You said you're going to meet that guy at the airport.
Okay, yeah, we're going to meet at the airport at 4 in the morning.
What's his name again?
Scott Snyder.
Schneider, like the guy on One Day at a Time.
Yes.
Snyder.
And I'm going to bring that cable that I've been dragging around the map to the airport, and then I'm going to give him Mark Kendall's cable at the airport, and he's going to bring it on the plane. So he can hand it to him, and then they can perform. So in a way, I'm kind of saving the whole show.
Yeah, I put Chris in timeout. He's idiot. He's just stupid. I know he's another moron who's trying to be funny. He's not funny.
Not funny. It can't
Audio.
be the first time they've heard that they're not funny. I mean, they go through their entire life like that, right? It's always that guy. I hear him at the pool, screaming and laughing, ha 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 ha, all the way 11 floors up. I hear it in my place, and I'm just thinking, I don't mind laughter if you want to be happy, but what bothers me is I know there's no one that funny at that pool.
No. Someone saying interview Ron Jeremy. Ron Jeremy suffers from dementia. He's in a medical facility. He no longer knows who he is or where he is or how he got that giant penis. but there is no more interviewing Ron Jeremy. They'll interview him every few years to make sure that he's still not fit to stand trial. Much like many people that we work with or come in contact with, he's clueless.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, we'll also stand trial.
Right. Well,
Kind of like in the Pink Floyd movie. Remember that when they put him on trial, and and the guy comes out, the big fat guy in the opera suit, and they try him like for being not funny.
Yeah, absolutely. That we might need that. We've gone for 2 hours and 5 minutes. I feel like I've been to Haiti and back.
Yeah.
Again, if for those of you who started at the beginning, we endured a first-time comedy performance by Stevie Rochelle. I mean, I thought I was getting punked. I thought I was getting punked.
The worst part was when you were asking him questions about, and he was in character, but answering about questions about himself.
Right. Yeah. Well, he played himself when we spoke about.
At least he tried to stay in character. I know they always say, like, you got to stay in character.
He did not. He did not warn me that we were doing comedy. I didn't know.
Everyone's a fucking comedian.
Yeah, he was funnier than most people we know, though. All right, Tina, thank you so much. Everybody enjoying the show. I'm going to go back to packing. My goal.
Oh yeah.
My goal is to have everything packed tonight.
Oh.
Tomorrow, just hang tight and be ready to go. I bought mostly new things. Now I've got to find something to eat. That's my mission.
Oh, I'm hungry too. Yeah, and I should pack too because I have a show tomorrow. I thought I was going to have an extra day.
What time is your show tomorrow?
4 to 7.
Yeah, that's rough.
But I mean, we don't leave till. I mean, I go home and we wake up. So as long as I get to bed by 10, I should be okay, right?
I mean, yeah, I guess. Keith would like to know when Piercy is making his announcement. He's already made a few announcements, but this Friday, you can tune in at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Johnny and I will be on a plane, but you can watch the interview with Stephen Piercy. Johnny working on some material out as well.
This time I'm going to go on the boat. I don't want to be recognized at the airport.
No, I don't blame you. I will probably do some live streaming. And again, every day, 6 days in a row, you will see a tour diary. For those of you who may be stupid, the tour diary is about my life and what I do and where I go. Sometimes it's terrible, according to people who are uneducated or unfunny. Not people like Johnny who are working on material. Anyway, I thank everyone for watching, and I hope that you will tune in Friday, watch the Stephen Piercy interview, and then stay here. I can't wait to check my phone right now and see all the people who want to chat.
Tune in.
Johnny, that's that. Yeah, stay tuned, right?
That's right.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. And if this is the last time we see you, may God be with you.
And also.